So I'm gonna title this video all of my sword style machetes. And a quick word about these sword style machetes. This is cold steel cutlass machete. I haven't touched it in a while, if you could see all that dust. It's been hanging on my sword rack for a while. But a quick word about these. Someone said these machetes really are not going to match the performance or quality you would get out of actual legit sword. And that's true. I assume that if you were to fight someone one on one and someone had like a sword from Albion or Deltin or something, that they might be able to cut right through your cold steel sword. Otherwise, if you're, well, what's the chance that you're going to be fighting someone that has a $2,000 Albion sword if someone's trying to invade your home? Obviously, there's better, more explosive and effective modern things that could help you for a home invasion. But I can attest that these things are sharp and they do cut you. I have a big scar right on my finger that testifies to that. And this is actually the one that did it. So let me talk about this. This is the cold steel cutlass machete. And I never really was able to get a decent edge on this, mostly because I didn't know what I was doing. I probably could now, with the knowledge I have now, get a decent edge on it. But I actually carried this around with me for a while. I'd go over to my friend's house and I'd bring this with me. If I went to go get gas or something, I'd put this in the car right next to my seat. We're going for a drive to pick up one of my friends. I'd have this along with me. Really, I am a fan of the D guard here. The D guard is really cool, and the grip is pretty comfortable. I put some grip tape on this one, without exception, every single time. These sheaths that they come in are not very good. They're always bad. But let me tell you a quick story. I was I was throwing it around, playing with it like I was in the color guard or something. And I went to grab it, and the sheath came undone. And I cut my hand right open. I might have told you that story before, but every time, it makes me nervous holding this thing since that happened. But since that happened, I put a little bit of electrical tape around the end so that it actually has some tension and that won't easily fall out now. It won't easily fall out of the... Yeah, these sheaths are not good. They're ugly. This little belt loop is terrible. Without exception. This is true of all of these swords, all of these machete, sword style machetes. All of these belt loops are bad. Because when you walk, it's this thing slapping against your leg. It's not any fun. It's always terrible. But I'm a bit of a fanboy of these sword style machetes because it gives me the opportunity to actually have on-hand experience with certain sword shapes and styles without having to dump, $500 every time I wanted to try something new. I don't have to drop $350 on a 1860 naval cutlass or on a friggin' 15th century arming sword. If you've watched the show I was on, Trailblazers, there's this place called the Jumps, and this nasty water bamboo invasive species grows there, and it grows to 10, 15 feet tall. And so that's what I use these for, these machetes. I go in there and chop that down. But I actually never used this one because I wanted the edge on this to stay pristine. Because you'll see with some of these other ones, these do rust quite easily, and just being out in that, I'll go and cut down this water bamboo, and before I get home and look at the machete, it's already started to rust. And this is an example here. I hate this one. This is the original cold steel katana machete. How they got away with calling this a katana machete, I'll never know. I'll never understand. I tried to like carve out the handle here to make this sort of an arming sword, a tanto tip arming sword. But if you can see, I did use this out in the forest, and it's got a little bit of, it's not rust, I guess, it's tarnish or patina, I guess you could say. But I would like this if this thing's handle wasn't so bad. I cut the handle off. This usually comes way down here. And if you swing it from here, this thing will shear right off. Right at this nut here. And there's plenty of videos of people doing that too. Plenty of evidence that that happens. I tried carving at the handle because it was too wide. And even now it's too wide. It's not comfortable to grip at all. This if I swung this, it would fall right out of my hand. It's just, it's bad. And this stuff is so hard to carve. Honestly, this polypropylene or whatever, it's tough. It's tough to carve. I'll see if you can get a good look at that. Yeah, I don't have the patience to keep chipping away at that. Now this one is actually the very first, like, legit machete I ever got. My uncle got this for me. This is the gladius machete. And this, now that I have it in my hand, especially compared to that one I was just holding, this feels so good. The balance on this feels really good. It feels right. It feels right in your hand. Of course, it's got these grooves here in the handle. That feels good. It feels like it's not going to fall out of your hand. I don't know if you can tell, or if it's really, maybe it's not. I have a feeling that this is warped a little bit because I have cut trees with this before. And really right on this this flaring here on the leaf, that is a very good chopping point. This thing is good. This thing is legit. I am a fan of the leaf-shaped blade because it's got that tip-heavy chopping function. And also very, very pointy, sharp tip. Very pointy. This is probably like 18 inches, I'm guessing. It's not very big. I'm actually a really big fan of this. This one, actually, this gladius machete, I should have brought it. Maybe I'll show you my backpack one day. It's falling apart. But this actually fits right into my backpack, and I can reach behind myself, and I can like reach behind my head and pull it out in my backpack. So I've carried this one around a decent bit, and you could probably tell from the patina on that edge. I don't know how well you can actually see that, but I did put a lot of goofy work into this. As you can see right on the bottom here, I tried sanding off the black coating. Didn't really work out. These machetes have a deep grain, so the coating gets deep down into the grains of the steel. But the black coating is good. The black coating is decent. It does its job and it works. But yeah, this is definitely one of my more favorite ones. Cold Steel Gladius machete. It's pretty good. I don't know. I don't know if you can find these anymore. I know I was recently getting some traffic because Cold Steel just sold, like Lynn Thompson just sold Cold Steel or something. I didn't look too deep into it. Cold Steel stuff is getting harder to find. The price on Amazon's shooting up if you can find anything on there. So sad stuff. End of an era stuff there. You know, here's to hoping that things work out. So now I'm going to show you the sword style machete that I got the most functional use out of. I've actually used this commercially. And this is a complete wreck. Look at that edge. Completely rusted out. I need to clean this thing up and show some respect to it. This is the Steel Kopis machete. When I first got this, I took it over to my friend's house and I said, hey, check this out. And he's like, yeah, it's really flimsy. This blade is very, very thin. This is a thin, thin blade. And that's actually the best part about it. You can see this thing is sickle shaped. So I found a lot of use with this cutting weeds. I was in this guy's backyard and he wanted me to cut these weeds down. The weeds were 10 feet tall, and I just grabbed this and started hacking away in this guy's backyard. If you can even see, there's still some grass stuck to this. I do have to clean this up. This thing's like rusting even through the black coating. So I will have to clean this up one day. In recent times, I've not gotten a lot of I've not gotten hired a lot to work on people's lawns because a lot of people have spare time on their hands and they'll cut their lawns themselves. So, bit of a bummer there. I think my lawn care career is over. Honestly. And to tell you the truth, I wasn't really that good at it anyway. But it was exercise, it was good exercise. I don't want to gloss over this either. This handle is very good. I like that my hand is not going to fall out if I lose grip or my hand gets wet. And it will get wet chopping down all those weeds. This C grip, this C guard, prevents my hand from slipping. It's got a little recess in here, which your finger goes into nicely, and it is hard to lose your grip on this. Yeah, dude, I gotta clean this. I gotta clean this thing. I've got two more, okay? Now, this is what do they call this? The tactical katana machete, I believe. There is a bit of patina on the blade, if you can see that. Because I did actually use this one to chop those weeds. This feels really good. This feels really good in your hand. This guard here is metal. This Suba is metal. And it actually looks like a katana, unlike the original katana machete. So, it is short, okay? It has a full grip, but it's only 24 inches long on the blade, which is kind of weird. And I'm not sure where the tang comes down in this handle, but I think you should be gripping it up here anyway. And if anything, if you're gonna use down here, it's gonna be with two hands. That's just my opinion. You look better, you look cooler wielding it with one hand. The only complaint I have about this is the grip. You can see it has like a wrapping pattern. This is actually a little too aggressive. It does kind of hurt to hold. Now, if this video gets any traction, I will make a video about these, which is my knife style machetes. But the grip on this is very different, if I can show you. If you can see the difference on the grip. The one on this tactical Tonto machete is a lot nicer to hold. It's a lot nicer to hold than the one on this tactical katana machete. I think it might just be a generational difference. This one might be a Gen 2, this one might be a Gen 1. I'm not sure, to be honest. But there's a visible difference and a tactile difference. It feels a lot different. This one feels a lot better than this. But still, I like it. It's cool. And this might be... If someone were to break into my house, I might grab this before I grab the cutlass machete, to be honest. To tell you the truth. Because I like this one a little bit better. Now, last on my list of sword-style machetes is the Cold Steel Barong machete. Now, I think this thing is like around 18 inches, so I'm putting this in the sword style and not in the knife style. Like 14 inches and under we'll put in the knife style. Maybe I'll make that video one day. But the Barong machete, this feels so good. Again, a leaf-shaped blade. Blade, I find, they say leaf-shaped blade is a thrusting shape. I find this to be very good for chopping. There's something about the geometry, I don't know. I can't describe in physics terms what happens, but it feels good. It feels right. This is a... You can't tell. It is thicker than the a lot of the other ones. And it feels good when you're swinging it. If a branch is in the way on the trail as I'm trailing along, as I'm rucking along, this will shear right through it every time. This is my new choice for my trail machete, my adventuring machete. This is what I'm going to take with me. This is what I take with me most of the time now, because it's so good. It feels so good. And this has a different coating. This has like a shiny coating on it. If I can contrast against the katana machete, this is more of a glossy, where the katana machete is more of a matte finish. And I feel like the glossy finish really helps in chopping. It glides right through it and there's less drag. Just touching it, it feels like there's less drag. So I don't know what they do, if this is like a newer thing they were doing on their machetes, but this coating is a lot better than the old one. Again, it's hard to drop this. It's really hard to drop this because of the way this is shaped. It's not going to fly out of your hand. It's tough. It's tough to get this to fly out of your hand. So this is my choice for a trail machete, because it's so good. It's shaped so good, and it does its job really good too. Anything I need it to do for a machete, it's really good at it, and it doesn't feel like it takes a lot of effort to do it either. So that's my collection of sword style machetes. Notably, they're all from Cold Steel, because I don't really think there's a whole lot of people making the sword style machetes. And I don't know why, because I feel like they sell like hotcakes. Did Lynn Thompson have a stranglehold on the sword style machete market? Maybe. You know, there have been complaints about Lynn Thompson, about him claiming intellectual property that's not his. I don't know how true that is. But I hope that that market continues to grow, you know, because it's something that I enjoy. But leave a like on this video. Please let me know if you want to see more gear. There's more. I do have more. I have all of these, knife style machetes that are shorter than all the ones I showed you today. I have a ton of fixed blades. I even have some other gear, some miscellaneous gear that I could go over, some interesting things that I picked up. So let me know. Leave a comment, leave a like.